All right. So today's outline, I'll start with what are open educational resources, why they are, who are using them, and why they are using these open educational resources, and then I'll talk about how you can get involved in this movement, and then I'll give you an idea about what's going on in this research, and I'll sum up with a quick summary. First, what are the open educational resources? They are the openly available learning material available on the internet for learning, teaching, and research. They are of different file formats. There are videos, audios, there are text formats. And most of the open educational resources are published in Creative Commons license, which allows and specifies how these learning resources can be reused by others and in a legal way. Open educational resources can be of different types, as I said. They start from small text files and come and upgrade into a blog or a wiki. Now, who is involved in this movement? Higher educational institutions, organizations, and community are engaged. UNESCO is one of the big supporters of the Open Education Resources movement. Massachusetts Institute of Technology is one of the pioneers in this area with its huge open courseware initiative, as well as the Open University of the United Kingdom. They are sharing their intellectual property. They're sharing their learning resources created in these institutions publicly and for free for anyone to learn from them. There's also a community-developed project, which is the Connections, which allows educators from all around the world to participate with their learning resources and share them with others for free. Now, here are some examples of open educational resources. This is a lecture from MIT. It's a video lecture. This was published in 2005, and it is a almost 40-minute lecture with what is actually being taught in MIT. This is another audio lecture from Stanford, and it is published on the iTunes, and it's free to use for learning and teaching. We have a local example here in Australia, the University of Southern Queensland. They're making their own open courseware, and they're publishing not as diverse and wide as other initiatives, but still they have good and excellent quality of learning resources. Johns Hopkins School of Public Health also publish a wide range of resources in public health, and also medical images, which anyone can go there and download these images. Millet is also a huge multimedia database for learning resources, and there are, for example, interactive games you can download from there. Now, why would these big institutions, big universities, share their intellectual property freely for anyone to reuse and remix with their content? Why this is important? Why MIT is spending tens of thousands of dollars over creating these learning resources and allocating teams and spending much of its budget actually on this initiative? I'll leave this question open for you, and I will jump on how to get you involved in the Open Educational Resources movement. First, it all starts with the desire to teach. You want to share something, your knowledge. You want to share what you have built in your academic years with others. And here's a story. This is Adam. He is a lecturer at School of Computing, and he's teaching computer operating systems, and he is planning to create an open educational resource for his students and as well publish it on his university's open courseware. His development of open educational resources starts with designing, collecting, reuse, licensing, and finally publishing what he has created. For designing, starting with designing the learning objectives of the learning resource as any other learning material you create, and setting the objectives. Second step is collecting the material. Adam is collecting from different resources, different available open educational resources. First, he goes to connections, types open operating system, and find this material. Most important thing is to look up the license. So the license says attribution. It's a Creative Commons license, which says that you can use this learning resource as long as you attribute the first author. That's it. Then he needs to add some illustration to his learning unit. He jumps to Flickr and find this operating system network, which he can adapt into his learning module. Then he goes to Open Tapestry, and where he needs to add some exercises to his learning resource. So he goes to Open Tapestry and and he found these exercises, bring them and attach them to his module. Also look up for the license. It says attribution. The other thing he also want to add is just a reference for in-depth learning for his students, where they can read more about the operating systems topic and the structure and the functionality of operating system. Also, Adam look at the license of this journal. He found it from the Directory of Open Access Journals. The third step is reuse. Now, reusing the learning material downloaded from these resources needed to consider the license of these resources. So Adam can mix, modify, or use as is, and crop, for example, for an image, to crop it. Now, the other thing he needs to do with these learning is to make sure that he uses proper tools for these for this reuse step. So in his toolkit there are different types of tools for screen capturing, presentations, photos, and infographics. And for example, to create a book, they are all open open and free tools to use to adapt these learning resources into his module. Sorry. For the fourth step is licensing his work. Okay, what he needs to be aware of the types of license that each component he collected associated with. So for the literature, it's attribution. For the exercises, attribution, and for the image, it's attribution, but it's not for commercial use. So in Creative Commons, there are 6 types of license that can be used for open resources. Not all of them applies actually for open educational resources, and not all of them applies in each case. So in this case, he has only 3 licenses that he can select from to associate to what he creates out of these reused components. The final step is publishing. Now, Adam is trying to share what he has created in this module with others. He wants to make it accessible to a broader audience. So there are many options: social media, or open courseware at the university, or, for example, at the community. So why would you care for that? To maximize the impact and the reach of your knowledge, opportunity to increase, to improve what you have designed, and saving the cost of creating learning resources, effective utilization of technology in blended learning environments and in education. So who else can do this next to the academics? There are some people in the universities who are able to use the technology, and they have some experience. And while they are going through their university years, they are actually constructing a knowledge. Students can be engaged. This is actually my research area, where we can, how we can engage students in building these learning resources as they go through their university years. At the last semester, we have engaged students from Introduction to IT unit from School of Computing, and these students was usually creating a project to test, to assess their skills in using softwares or authoring softwares. In this research, we have asked the students to use their skills to develop learning resources. So we asked them in the Introduction to IT to go and use one of the tools and toolkit we have provided and design something from their universities or something they have experience with, and develop something that can teach others. Now, why I'm doing this? I want to develop and evaluate a sustainable OER model, because most, or actually majority of open educational resources are based on seed funding or institutional funding. So trying to develop a self-sustaining model, tapping into student-generated content, advanced learning through the efficient use of technology, and engage students in their own learning experience, give them the opportunity to have the authorship and ownership of their learning experience. Now, to sum up with this presentation, OER movement has been running for over a decade with big names, MIT, UNESCO, the Open University of the United Kingdom, and they are sharing their learning for free with everyone in the world. And there are many benefits for open educational resources in blended learning in particular, and the cost saving and providing learning with diverse learning resources, and in-depth learning, and having a lot of options for them, and having opportunity for educators to remix, improve what they have created and build upon it is also a great opportunity. Students can play a significant role in this. They actually construct what they have understood, or what they have learned in a unit, and then share it with the world through this initiative. And thank you very much for your listening.